She left breakfast outside her children's doors. Then she sealed the kitchen hen, put her head in the oven, and never came back out. Ted Hughes cheated on her, abandoned her in a freezing apartment with 2 babies, and then inherited everything she left behind. And that's not even the darkest part of this story. I'm Ivy Noir. I talk about death, disturbing history, dark pop culture lore, and stories that refuse to leave you alone. If you're into that kind of thing, follow me. Most people reduce Sylvia Plath to a single headline, the brilliant poet who stuck her head in the oven, but that's not her story. That's just how it ended. And everything that came before it is so much more devastating than most people know. Sylvia was born in 1932 in Boston. Her father died when she was 8, a loss that never fully left her and haunted nearly everything she ever wrote. By high school, she was already publishing in national magazines. She was brilliant, obsessive, and relentless. A perfectionist who wrote compulsively and felt everything at an intensity most people can't imagine. At 19, she landed a summer internship at Mademoiselle magazine in New York, completely unheard of at the time. But the pressure and the isolation sent her into a spiral. She disappeared for days. Her mother eventually found her unconscious under the family porch after she had taken an overdose of sleeping pills. She survived, barely, and was institutionalized. That experience became the foundation of her only novel, The Bell Jar. Then came Ted Hughes. Magnetic, charming, a poet himself. They met and were married just 4 months later. But it didn't take long for things to turn dark. Sylvia described their marriage as toxic and violent at times. And then Ted did what small, miserable men do. He started cheating with another poet named Assia Wevel. And then he left. Walked out on Sylvia and their 2 young children and moved on without looking back. This is the part that genuinely makes me furious every single time. He left her alone in an unheated apartment in London during one of the coldest winters in decades. No support, no stability, 2 children under 3 years old, completely betrayed and completely isolated. And in the middle of all of that, Sylvia wrote, in just a few weeks, she produced most of the poems that would become Ariel, the collection that made her a literary icon. Lady Lazarus, Edge, raw, furious, devastating work that came pouring out of her in the worst moments of her life. On February 11th, 1963, Sylvia prepared breakfast for her children, carried it outside their bedroom doors, and carefully sealed their rooms shut with tape and towels so they would be protected. Then she went to the kitchen, got down on her knees, and turned on the oven. She was 30 years old. Now here's where the story takes a turn that I still can't fully process. 6 years after Sylvia's death, Assia Wevel, the woman Ted had left Sylvia for, also died by suicide. And she did it the exact same way, the exact same method, and she took her young daughter with her. Ted Hughes survived all of it. He inherited Sylvia's entire estate. He burned her final journals, claiming it was to protect their children. The world, especially women, never forgave him for it. Sylvia's gravestone still bears his name, and fans have defaced it repeatedly for decades in protest. Their son Nicholas, raised by Ted after Sylvia's death, died by suicide in 2009 at the age of 47. Ariel was published after her death and is still considered one of the most important works of modern literature. Her voice, raw, angry, and completely unwilling to be silenced, became a battle cry for generations of women who had been told they were too much, too intense, too difficult. Sylvia Plath didn't just leave behind poetry, she left behind a reckoning. And the cruelest part is that the man who helped destroy her got to control her legacy anyway. What do you think about what Ted Hughes did, both while she was alive and after her death? And did you know how dark this story really goes?